Today we're going to discuss the D6N operation, greasing, and just some basic points about the machine. First thing you want to do before you get in the machine is do a walk around. You want to check the oil. To do that, come up here, open this up. Got your dipstick for your oil right here. Pull that out. You can see there's 2 tick marks on it. Anywhere in between there is good. About halfway is what you're looking for. So we're good on our oil. We'll put that back in there. And while you're in here, look for anything that looks out of place. Any hoses that are cut, frayed, leaks, fuel lines, just anything that looks out of place. Same thing with your hydraulics. You see oil, if this is wet here or anything in this area has oil on it, there's probably a problem. Just like with any track machine, at the end of the day, you want to clean the tracks. On this machine in particular, you want to make sure when you clean the tracks, you get all the mud out from around these hoses here. If mud freezes on that, when you go to lift the blade, you'll tear those up almost every time. So make sure on this side and the other side that that's cleaned off. So we'll keep going around here. Inside this door here, we've got our master switch. If you get in the machine and it won't start, it acts like the battery's dead, check this here to make sure that that's on. If it's acting like the battery's dead, you're not getting any gauges or anything, check that. That could be the issue. Windshield washer fluid here. It's always good to have clean windshield so you can see what you're doing. Shut that. Come on around the back here. Here's your fuel. Obviously that's where you put the diesel fuel. Coming on around, you've got your hydraulic oil right here. A sight glass. Hydraulic oil goes in here. It's always a good idea to look there, make sure you've got oil in there. If you don't, you'll tear the machine up pretty fast. Coming on around to the front, same thing with the hoses. Like I said on the other side, it's important that we make sure these hoses are free of frozen dirt. Make sure we don't tear those up. Get an eye on our cylinders here, make sure there's no leaks, anything. And then your engine compartment again, doesn't hurt to pop that open. Just take a look in there, make sure nothing's leaking, everything looks like it's in place. Come on around the front, and we've got 3 more cylinders on the front. Same thing, just look for any oil leaking, anything that looks out of place that could cause you problems while you're operating it. So now we're in the cab of the machine, we're ready to start it and start operating. A few things you want to do before you start it. You want to make sure here you've got reverse, neutral, and forward with a little white clicker here. That would be forward, neutral, reverse. You want to make sure that you're in neutral before you start it. Your parking brake is over here. You want to make sure that's up, that's parked. So now I can't do anything if the parking brake is on. You'll notice if I click that down, I can steer now. So neutral, parking brake, and something else. This here is a lock that actually locks the whole thing. So now it's locked. Now I can't even unlock the parking brake. I can't do anything. If you're having trouble with that, make sure that's unlocked. That's not something we do. We typically don't lock that, but in case somebody were to do that, just make sure that's unlocked, and then you can operate that piece of the machine. So now we're ready to start it. Got the accessories selection here. It'll give you all your gauges. In colder temperatures, you want to make sure you let the glow plugs warm up for a minute, depending on how cold it is. You want to let it sit a little bit longer. But just put it in the accessory selection there, and you'll get a light here on the screen that has a glow plug indicator. Just let that warm up for a little bit before you turn it over. It's warm enough outside today, we don't need to do that. The machine's running now. I'm going to take my parking brake off. Your throttle is over here. You can't select a certain throttle setting. It's either fast or slow. The Rabbit obviously being the fast. It'll throttle up. You'll get an RPM indication here and also a forward reverse gear selection. You select your gear right here. Up is faster, down is lower. Your blade is your right hand. You pull it back to you, the blade comes up. Push it away from you, goes down. Left, it tilts the blade. Right, same thing. You can tilt it either way there. And then you can angle the blade with your thumb. Either way you want to go there. Down here at your feet, you've got a brake, which you don't want to use in case of emergencies. That's the only time you really want to use that. That's hard on the machine. You've got a throttle here. You'll notice when I press that down, it's a decel pedal. So if you press on that, it's going to slow the machine down a little bit, or it'll slow it down all the way. So anytime you take off in this machine, you want to depress the decel pedal. Put it in forward, and then accelerate slowly, and you can speed up, like I said, with the button over here. You'll notice as I click the buttons, the speed increases. Typically, we don't like to operate this machine at anything higher than 3. So now I'm going to put it in reverse. Same thing. You'll notice my foot's on the decel pedal. And as I'm backing up, I let my foot off all the way. And we're going as fast as the machine will go in reverse. I want to go forward again. Click it into neutral, put my foot on the decel pedal, put it in forward and take off. If you don't do that, it's hard on the transmission to just jam it back and forth between the gears. One other thing I didn't point out was the horn. It's right there. This lever on this machine doesn't do anything. It's for a ripper on the back. This machine is not equipped with that. So when I go to park it and be done with the machine, put the blade down all the way. Make sure we're in neutral. Put the parking brake on. Throttle down. And it's always good to let the machine sit idle for a minute or two after running it to let the oil cool down so you're not burning up the turbo. That's basic operation of this machine. You've got your heat and air down here. Your windshield washer or your windshield wipers are up here. There's 2 on the front and then 1 in the back, and then this little window here. Your rear view mirror. If you want to open the doors, right here, click those open. They will lock. To let those go, you grab a hold of this, pull that, same thing over here. It'll pop it down. If you're running the GPS, we've got QR codes here for specific problems that we've seen come up in the past. You need a QR reader on your phone. You've got adjusting blade wear, very low GPS accuracy, low accuracy, just some different options that we've come across in the past. If the GPS is giving you any of these codes, you can just scan the QR code for the corresponding problem and it'll come up with a video of how to remedy that. That's basic operation of the D6N. Now we're going to discuss greasing the D6N. To do this, it's always good to have a spare tube of grease, a screwdriver to clean out the grease zerks, and obviously a grease gun. And never hurts to have a rag to keep the grease off your hands. So we'll start here. There's 1 grease zerk here. You're looking for any pivot point on the machine, anywhere where there's a hydraulic cylinder and it's pivoting. So there's 1 here. about 3. On this machine, it's probably good to go about 4 or 5 pumps per grease zerk. You don't have to overdo it. So we'll come here to this one. There's one that's there's a few on this machine that are in a really weird spot. There's one right, you can see it better from up here. It's right in here. So there's one there. We've gotten this one. We'll just keep moving towards the front of the machine. We've got one here, here, one right there, and then there's a few more that are in really weird spots. You've got one down here at the bottom of the blade, and then on the back side, right here, there's one right here, one there. We'll come around the front of the machine. And a lot of these are going to be repeats as far as on the side of the machine. So you'll see we've got one here, 2 more here. Moving back, you got one right there, here, and then the one that's in kind of the weird spot right there. And your last one up here. 16 grease zerks total is what's on this machine.